Hey again, it's Clinton here, back with more Destiny. Today we're looking at multiplayer in Destiny. The footage here is from Iron Banner. This is the final night of Iron Banner 5. Got some pretty good games in, and this footage right here, this is from a match where the team did really well. We're playing Firebase Delphi for like the 100th time in a row. So, we got pretty familiar with the map. We found our flow. And in this match, we maybe have 4 or 5 core team members in the fire team, with a couple of randoms. And what I learned, sort of like kind of late in the game here, but this is the first time I ran with such a full team in Iron Banner. And number one benefit, in my opinion, is that even if we're not the best team communicators and we're so largely running around like headless chickens, we can at least call it some threats, and when the heavy ammo drop comes around, we all know to converge and to wait for everyone to converge on the chest. Then we can share that heavy ammo amongst 3 or 4 players. Now that is key. That was key to us winning this match and also doing well in a couple other matches. And wow, it just makes such a huge difference. Now, Iron Banner gameplay aside, I wanted to talk more in general about the Crucible and the future of Crucible in Destiny. So there's been some talk about how some people don't like the Crucible flat out, and there's some who do like it but feel that it's almost cramping the style of the rest of the game, and specifically with how the weapon balancing goes. There's some controversy still over the upcoming 1.1.1 update, which will retune a lot of the weapons such as the pulse rifles, auto rifles, and shotguns, fusion rifles, pretty much everything except for snipers, scouts, and some other thing. Freaking rocket launchers? Yeah. So, I think the crux of the argument here is that, well, the Crucible, the way the weapon system works on the Crucible is at odds with how it works in PvE. So now Bungie has this large task of having to satisfy 2 masters, PvE and PvP, and you can see that in the changes that they're rolling out with this new update. For example, we take the shotgun. Only in PvE will the shotguns now do 100% more damage, right? But then in PvP, they're pretty much the same as they've always been. I think they might be even decreasing their effective range even more again, right? So you have this sort of push and pull of, well, Bungie wants us to find these awesome weapons in PvE mainly and use them in PvE, use them for the raids and high level content, but they also want us to switch things up a bit and take them into this competitive arena and test their skills that way. And then they had the right idea with standard Crucible of taking away level advantages and kind of making things more flat. So you're basically just looking at the perks and the sort of like the secondary stats like impact and stability and stuff, not the attack ratings of the weapons. They wanted those greens and blues and purples to be just as effective in most situations as your exotics. And I think generally they do a pretty good job of that, and even in Iron Banner, provided that you're not grossly underleveled, you're not seeing like a huge drastic difference in weapon power levels. So it's a really tough job they have ahead of them, but I think generally they've done okay, and I think they just need to continue to, well, here's the thing. I think if they start treating the weapons, like if they take any one weapon, say the Suros regime, now if they start tinkering with that weapon as 2 separate weapons, one version of Suros regime in PvP and another in PvE, I think that ruins the essence of what the weapon is, and I think it starts to confuse people. So if you have a weapon that diverges too much between the 2 game modes of competitive and PvE play, then you start to kind of lose the specialness of having any one particular weapon, and you may as well not even have the same gun you can take between PvE and PvP modes, if you know what I mean. So getting rid of Crucible altogether, I've heard that suggestion floated around. I think that's really extreme for a number of reasons. If you were to take out Crucible and just focus on PvE, well, first of all, the horses have been let out of the barn already, right? Bungie has already included Crucible in this version of Destiny. When you're talking about product development and the marketplace and just having things out for people to buy, once you've offered something to customers, to then take it away in the next iteration of your product is basically suicide. The game industry is not so different from other industries. It's an additive industry. People expect more, right? When you come up with something new, they also expect more. They expect new. They expect novelty. But the easiest thing to do is to add to your existing product. And for Destiny to take away Crucible at this point would just be insane. It would not be good for them in a commercial sense, right? They'd be crucified. Now, another reason against taking out Crucible altogether is I think they're still perfecting and refining their process of balancing weapons, right? And it's throwing out, it's too extreme, right? It's throwing the baby out the bathwater. They have time to refine their systems. And I think the main thing that's really holding back the Crucible right now is that it's not really tied into anything yet. When you place, aside from Iron Banner at least gives you a sense of purpose. That is like the main thing that makes it so appealing. Myself, I didn't really grind to get any of the cool weapons this time. Or I never have, actually. The highest I've ever gotten is rank 3, but I appreciate the fact that you can work towards something. Now, I'm even thinking for Destiny 2, they make the Iron Banner a permanent mode in the game, and they embrace the fact that there's going to be level differences. I mean, the whole game is centered around grinding for gear, leveling up, and I think for the Crucible to sort of embrace that ethos, I think it'd be shocking, of course, for new players. It's supposed to be, because new players, weaker characters are going to be not fit to compete, but the whole point would be to work yourself up to build your character so they could compete in the Iron Banner. Now, I would be also supportive of the idea of keeping like a standard Crucible mode where they could remove a lot of these level advantages. But I think the marquee mode in Destiny 2 should be something like the Iron Banner, and they really should work on tying in clans, more organized play. Now, I personally don't believe Destiny is ever going to be ready to be like a pro sport. It's not MLG ready in any sense. You can just tell by when I put gameplay footage up of the Crucible, there's still a lot of lag and weirdness that goes on. They have the class supers, which, I think all in all kind of balance out between all the different classes and how you have to power them up. But yeah, I think there's too many variables, there's too much gear balance and look at to really make this a competitive game with a pro sport. But I think for the average casual player, we would really appreciate some kind of purpose, some sort of persistence to playing the Crucible and getting better at playing the Crucible and progressing through some sort of system where we get unlocks, where we grind some special reputation, where we can kind of move our clan forward in like sort of like a global leaderboard. It could be something more interesting than a leaderboard, but I think there's definitely a big gap there in order to make the Crucible more fulfilling and sort of more something that stays in your head after you shut it down. Right now, the Crucible, you just jump in, you just jump out, and yeah, it's inconsequential really, aside from maybe the random awesome drop you might get once every 100 games. There really is nothing to really tie you in. All you have to do is look at a series like Call of Duty, whatever you may think about that series, they know how to put that carrot on the stick in front of you and keep you playing in multiplayer, even though you may get frustrated or even a little bit bored with the grinding. There is stuff for you to get, and you can only get that stuff by playing online. So at this state in Destiny, you can just play PvE, do the Vanguard stuff, ignore Crucible, and you can pretty much get everything you need, right? Do the raids, of course, and you can get absolutely everything. If you just play Crucible, it's going to take a very, very long time to get up to that same point. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I stand on the Crucible. I believe there's definitely potential for it to become way better than it already could be, so I definitely think they should keep it for Destiny 2, obviously, but they need to really tie it into the social fabric of the game more and improve the progression system and tie clans into it more, right? So that's it for me. We had a good match here. I look forward to the next Iron Banner. Hopefully I'll grind it up a little bit more to get some good stuff out of it this time. And yeah, play in a team, even Crucible, just play in a team as much as you can. Don't go solo. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys all next time. Ciao.